Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for telling a pregnant woman she weighs more than me? I'm 19F. The pregnant woman in question is my aunt, 30F. Starting this off, I'm very much fat and my extended. My parents are not assholes. Family has never been nice about it. From the weird diet suggestions I get all day long from my grandpa to outright insults disguised as jokes from certain people, it has always been a thing. My aunt's always been more likely to tell me about an exercise routine, but she has been known to joke about breaking chairs and shit. My aunt and I went out to a restaurant together today, and when we were ordering she was giving me looks. My mom went to the bathroom, and while she was gone my aunt was like, "Are you sure you want to order that? You know, given your weight and all." Mind you, we were ordering the exact same thing. So I told her something along the lines of, "You do realize you probably weigh more than me right now, right?" And this woman burst out into tears. My mom comes back out, and my aunt says that I called her fat, which, excuse you, I did not. But I explained the whole thing from my POV, and my mom told me that it was wrong to insult someone who's pregnant and to apologize. Now for the top comments. "You have to remember she's pregnant, she's insulting for two now. Sorry, couldn't resist the joke. You're not the a-hole in this specific situation. Generally one doesn't draw attention to a pregnant person's weight, but I'll give it a pass given the context." I agree with not the a-hole, but I disagree with people not drawing attention to a pregnant person's weight. For some reason, being pregnant is an invitation for any and everyone to comment on your body. Sincerely, a twice over mom, with comments varying from "you're so small for your gestation" to "you're carrying a girl BC, you're fat in the butt." NTA, GE is a no offense, but your whole family sounds like a bunch of R. It's kind of hilarious how much tea they talk, but you can't even make a simple observation without being scorned. Respect to you op for making her cry. I wish I could've seen it. Close bracket. NTA. Your extended family is uncomfortable with your weight, and their insecurities and inability to act right makes them say incredibly hurtful things to you. You telling your aunt that she weighs more than you isn't technically an insult. She just took it that way, and that's her problem. My suggestion would be to memorize some good comebacks, and every time they made a rude comment about you, fling an insult back at them. I would say to be the mature one and ignore it. But honestly, ignoring it won't make them stop. You could try telling them that their remarks hurt your feelings, but they will probably defend their shitty behavior and make excuses for it. I think your aunt should have kept her big mouth shut, and they should all mind their own business. Good for you for saying something. Am I the antagonist for keeping a picture of my late wife on my desk in a home office in my and my now wife's house? My 37 male first wife died 10 years ago. I remarried 4 years ago. I have a 17-year-old son from my first marriage, a 14-year-old stepson, and a 3-year-old daughter with my wife. All the kids live with us. I work from home. I have my office in none of the rooms of the house. I have many pictures on my desk of my wife and from our wedding, kids, my son as a baby, etc. I also have one of my first wife on a wedding day. I'm a lawyer, so the documents in my office are confidential. My wife never goes into my office. Now we are redecorating, and my wife is helping me clean my office to repaint the room, etc. She saw the wedding photo of my first wife on my desk and got really angry at me. She says I can have a picture of my first family, it's on the wall, from my son's first birthday, but not of my first wife on a wedding day. Some of my friends say it's an our move to have the wedding photo order on my desk where I see it every day. AITA. Now for the top comments. NTA. She's not your ex-wife. She's your late wife. It's not like you voluntarily aren't with her anymore. Wife. So what you're saying is if she didn't die we wouldn't be married? I mean. NTA. I think that every person who marries a widower or widow should read this. Thank you so much for this. It made me cry. I will show it to my wife. I also cried reading it. I hope she is able to appreciate this. I understand feeling second best, And knowing that you'd never be with the love of your life if their first partner hadn't died is a really terrible and gut-wrenching feeling. Having to be in a dead woman's shadow is so shit. Especially considering that dead woman is probably put up on a pedestal a lot. That's what people do when they mourn. They talk about the person like they are perfect. It really hurts bad to know you're the replacement. No a-holes here. Am I the antagonist for paying someone to clean my house? Yeah. You read the title. Insane, right? I thought it was. At least. I work a lot. And currently I live pretty comfortably. And the thing I hate most doing in my life is housework. Never liked it and hated every second I needed to do it. Now, I'm at a position that I can afford paying someone to do these chores for me as a service. So I contracted a company and they send people to do these tasks in my stead. Now, I know this isn't something everyone can afford, and that's fine. It's my own luxury spending. That being said, this past Saturday, I was at a bar with a couple of friends. They were talking, complaining about how much housework they needed to do that weekend. Usually, I stay quiet during these times and just listen, as I really can't say anything to amount to the conversation. When the girlfriend of one of my friends noticed that and said, "What about you? Are you late on chores as well?" It is obvious she was just trying to include me in the conversation. However, I just answered that I didn't really do those, as I paid for a service to do them in my stead. In my head, that was supposed to be it. However, no, it wasn't. This woman got visibly upset about it, and apparently offended. She started to say things like, "You're exploiting someone to do your own housework, you can't even be called a functional adult," etc. She apparently thought that, in paying for a cleaning service, I was exploiting the workers. Honestly, that led me really with no words. Eventually, she said I was being an asshole for not doing the bare minimum as an adult. A few of my friends seemed to agree with her, while others were uncomfortable with that discussion. Regardless of the rest of the night, now, I got myself wondering if I'm really such an asshole just because I hate doing chores. It's just an insane argument, if you ask me, but I thought I could ask the internet about it. Thanks. Now for the top comments. NTA, if I could afford to pay someone to come in twice a week, I would get someone to do my housekeeping. Employing a cleaner directly will ensure the cleaner is getting paid fairly. Often agency cleaners are not getting paid well. I was just thinking this. I would hire a cleaner in a minute if I had the money to X. NTA, she was though. It's none of her judgy ass business. People have cleaning services, and they need work. You pay someone a hopefully fair wage for cleaning your place. You don't have someone locked in your closet that you let out once a day to work. So you're not really exploiting anyone. The first image coming to mind is a Harry Potter lookalike that is let out of the closet once a day to clean. Am I the antagonist for not correcting my son when he told his stepfather/my husband off? I have been married to my husband Jeremy since my son Chris was 8. He is now 17. My husband and him have a fantastic relationship, despite what the title may sound like. My birthday is in 2 weeks and I honestly haven't put much thought into it. My husband is not a gift giver. He says he has a hard time figuring out what to get and doesn't want to waste money on something that people won't use. He is also a practical person, whereas I'm by far the sentimental type. So even when he does get me something, it's something I can use every day, which, no big deal obviously, but I've requested some sentimental pieces and he just never gets them. So I pretty much gave up on ever asking for anything, and it did really bother me for a number of years, but it truly doesn't bother me now usually. Well, my son graduated a year early and doesn't start college until next year. So currently he works 2 jobs, his choice. I've asked him to cut back and enjoy his teen years before adulthood, but working just makes him happy. So he works at a mechanic shop and a junkyard. Most of his buddies work there too, so at least he is getting in time with friends. Well, my husband hates spending money and tries inflicting that on us. He lives as frugally as physically possible and saves every single dime that he can. He could retire right this second and won't be able to go through all the money he has saved. My son comes home last night with 3 of his buddies at work with him and has like, I know it's not for 2 more weeks, but I can't wait for you to open this. so please open it now. Him and his buddies are snickering about it, so I thought it would be some gag gift, but much to my surprise, it was a huge, absolutely gorgeous wall piece that has photo frames and shelves built in. My husband immediately was like, wow, how much did that cost? That could have went into a IRA Ross account. IDK if I said that right. My son immediately shots cold daggers at my husband and says it's truly none of your business what I do with my money, and since you outright refuse to buy my mother nice things that she absolutely deserves, I will make sure she gets something nice. And for the record, we made this ourselves. Didn't cost us anything. My husband just stops talking, looks at me waiting for me to say something, and when I don't he shakes his head and walks off. After the boys leave he says I allowed Chris to embarrass him in front of other people and I should have said something. I simply told him that Chris was right. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. Lol. Your husband got wrecked. He should be embarrassed for being miserly, not the a-hole. Being miserly isn't even the problem. I'm a very practical person. But I'm friends with sentimental people. I get gifts for sentimental people. You know what the practical purpose of a sentimental gift is? It's that it makes the people I care about happy. Your husband doesn't have to buy you things if you don't want him to, but saying he's only able to handle getting you something practical, aka something he likes, is either him not trying or just weaponized incompetence. Good for your son for calling out the husband rudely asking how much a gift cost, which is never an okay question. NTA your son is an almost adult who works 2 jobs. He shouldn't even be questioned where his money is going. Also it is in really bad taste to ask how much a gift costs, especially in front of the recipient. He embarrassed himself. NTA, it appears that you have raised a beautiful son who will one day make a wonderful loving husband. And he's a handyman who can put things together. Win-win situation. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister-in-law she reaped what she sowed? I married my husband 7 years ago. At the time his sister was the only one with kids, and it was made clear to me that I was not aunt and I have been essentially made to be a stranger to sister-in-law's children by her own choice. She even taught her children that I'm not an aunt. As a result of this I'm not close to them, like I'm my husband's other siblings' children, who are my nieces and nephews, and I'm their aunt. I believe I'm a fun and generous aunt. I spend time with my nieces and nephews. I have painted stuff in their rooms for them as gifts, because I'm artsy. Sometimes I'll take them for fun little trips, or buy them stuff. Even as a mom now I like to do that, because I love those kids and I never had a family. So it's nice to have people who want me. I don't do any of this with sister-in-law's kids. I don't even try to speak to them anymore when I'm at the same place as them, because sister-in-law has made such a big deal out of it. It seemed like I was supposed to ignore them, and so I wasn't going to start drama or cause trouble for them by interacting, because I'm almost certain she told them not to talk to me. Now her kids are jealous and hurt that their cousins have cool paintings in their rooms or get-to-do's and they don't. She came to me and bitched about it and told me I was an asshole for making her kids feel that way. I told her that was her fault, not mine. That she set the tone. She made it so I wasn't related to her kids, and thus her kids' hurt was her fault. I told her she reaped what she sowed, and her poor kids were the biggest victim in it all. Of course she's pissed, and now she's all like see, she's a bad person and this is why I didn't want my kids to think of her as their aunt. The rest of the family are just rolling their eyes. But I know this didn't help. I also know it doesn't fix anything with her kids, who I do feel bad for. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA she didn't want you in their life and you respected that. NTA and the family is rolling their eyes at this lady's BS. If anyone said anything I would go over on the malicious compliance. I'd never undermine the decision of another mother. And when I was asked to step back from being an auntie those 7 or so years ago, it hurt but I listened. I'm sorry that things are this way now, but I had to respect her as a parent. I didn't draw the lines. NTA, you followed her instructions to not be their aunt. Sounds like the rest of the family knows she's a moron, too. The only reason sister-in-law is regretting it is because Op turned out to be a fabulous auntie to other children and sister-in-law is mad her own plan worked too well. Actions meet consequences. Yup. Sister-in-law is mad that her plan be careful what you wish for right on her face spectacularly. And what's worse, her own kids are suffering from her stupidity. Am I the antagonist for ruining my friend's night out over comments made about my wife? My wife, 27F, is the most amazing person I, 29 male, have ever met. She is brilliant, hilarious, gorgeous, kind, appreciates me, always makes sure I feel loved and cared for, is sexy as hell, and I could go on forever. She's my best friend and the love of my life. Now when I say she is beautiful I mean it. She is ridiculously pretty. Everywhere we go men stare at her. She is constantly getting hit on. She's pretty oblivious when people are hitting on her, but when she does figure it out, she shuts them down quickly. I've never once worried about her cheating, because that is not who she is, and she would never do that. I'm not ugly by any means, but I would say I'm definitely average. I have no idea what I did to deserve someone as amazing as my wife, but I sure as hell won't complain about having the most amazing partner in the world. I'm nowhere near my wife's league and people definitely let me know it. Whenever they found out we are together I get that look that's like really this guy? Sometimes people will just flat out say it too. They'll tell me she's way out of my league. I must have a lot of money, she makes more than me, etc. It's really annoying, but usually I'll just deal with it. I also have to deal with a lot of comments about how gorgeous my wife is from other men. Like to my face. Anyway, we were at the bar with my friends, and one of their coworkers who I've never met before. My wife ended up leaving early because she remembered she had an appointment in the morning, but told me to stay and have fun. After my wife left, the coworker started making comments that I found really inappropriate. It started with usual like what is a woman like that doing with a guy like you? I can handle things like that. They annoy me, but I'm used to them. Then he started saying things like I bet you have trouble handling a woman like that. I bet I could fuck her better than you and more. I was furious. He was completely objectifying and sexualizing my wife. He was being disrespectful to her and to me. The comments were disgusting, and I was honestly a little angry at my friends too. BC they didn't say anything. I blew up at the guy and we started arguing. I told him he was a disgusting pig and to fuck off. He told me I was an insecure little bitch and so on. We kept arguing, and I was starting to see red, so I removed myself from the situation and went home. As I was leaving he was saying shit like stay and be a real man, but I was done. I just wanted to go home and lay next to my wife and forget about the whole thing. I woke up to several texts from friends telling me I was an asshole for leaving and I ruined their night. They told me I blew things way out of proportion. I would ask my wife for her opinion, but I know when people say things about her like that it upsets her, and rightfully so. I would rather just not upset her and keep her and me away from that jackass. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. Reconsider those friends though. Wow. This opus. It's way past time for you to raise the bar on your friend standards. Not the a-hole. NTA, those are not your friends. Friends don't talk about their friends' spouses like that. And also the comments about you are not something friends should say, because obviously your wife chose you for a reason, and from this short text alone you seem like a really nice and respectful person and a great husband. So stop talking yourself down and get new friends. I second everything you say and want to highlight this. Stop talking yourself down. I hate the league concept. It's such a damaging lie. You love her. She is perfect for you. She loves you. You are perfect for her. Enough that you both decided to build a life together. That makes you both in each other's league. The league of you two. There is no big scoring card and the person on the top is perfect for everyone. We all have different facets and try to find someone compatible with who we are. Anybody who says differently is gross, objectifying and trying to hurt you. You seem a wonderful and caring person. Don't sell yourself short. Those aren't friends you keep. Take the trash out and make new friends. NTA. Seriously? He's lucky he didn't get punched in the face. NTA.